What's going on, everybody? I'm Straйкер K-Rock in the Red Bull sound space with our good friends Tyler and Josh, 21 Pilots. It's great to see you guys.
Good to see you too, man.
So good to see you.
Wow, I feel like, it's been 3 or 4 years since our first communication, and I'm just going to grab a piece of paper here because I have proof of first communication, which was in September of 2012.
Yeah.
And we had never met. I had not seen you live. I had watched videos of you guys, and I wrote online, I'm excited to play this band 21 Pilots for the Straйкер 420. Has anybody heard them? I really want to see these two guys play live. Do you remember that tweet? Did you see that tweet? Did you hear me play you guys on the radio?
I don't know if I remember too much, but what I know is it was September 6, 2012 in Michigan at Wayne State University.
Yeah,
the show
that's right.
playing.
Yeah. We remember way too well.
I have a video on my phone of like the first time you ever played our song, and we were all I think for some reason all of us got on our phones or our computers and went on the K-Rock website.
Yeah.
And we're just like, oh my gosh, K-Rock is playing our song in LA, and it was the first time we ever heard our song on the radio.
Yeah, it was a big deal. We don't like to admit, we're actually really nervous to talk to you because you're such a big deal to us.
That makes me feel incredible, and that I don't necessarily believe what you just said.
Oh, well,
but I have rooted for you guys so hard, and I had this bond with you, and you didn't even know it when I first started investigating who you guys were, your story. How is it just two guys? How do they have these seamless transitions in their music for such young guys? Are they with some musical wizard somewhere making these songs? So I was just so impressed by you guys. And you're not the underdogs anymore.
Well,
you're the opposite of underdogs. You're kicking ass.
Yeah, we've always felt like we're a little behind because, coming from the Columbus scene, trying to bust out of Ohio, and we've always felt like, hey, you know what, no one's gonna help us do this. We got to do this on our own. And so we still attack the stage with that same mentality, but at the same time, we now have people who are behind this thing and want it to succeed, and we don't look around and think that everyone hates us and wants us to fail. And so it's cool to have people like you in our corner, and it gives us all that much more confidence when we take a stage.
When you were on the ride, Vessel, everyone was listening to Vessel. Some people for the very first time, it had been out for a year, and then they were gravitating towards it because their friends were listening to it, and you would see new faces in bigger arenas. What was your holy crap, what the hell did we get ourselves into? Was there any moment, could be different moments for you guys? Josh?
Well, kind of, I think even before the album came out or before we even got signed, or it was just kind of us and maybe two friends traveling around in a SUV, and we did that for months, and then we did our first real hometown show that we kind of actually broadcasted and promoted on our social media and stuff, and that one, and it was at a venue that we had grown up going and seeing bigger bands or bands that we play, and we got a phone call at noon that day. From a friend of ours who was just trying to get tickets, but they say it's sold out or whatever. And so we're like, no, we'll call them ourselves.
Something's broken.
Yeah.
There's no way it got sold out.
So we call them and they're like, yeah, it's sold out, but we can add 300 more tickets or whatever, or 400 or something. And so we're like, okay, well, let's do that because our friend needs a ticket. And so then a couple hours later, they called us back and they're like, well, we sold through all those tickets too. And so we're just like, the heck? Yeah. How did this happen? And I think that was really the moment, because up until then we were just playing bars or small clubs for anywhere between 2 people to 30 people. Yeah. And this one was a little bit bigger, and so that's a moment that we'll just never forget.
I think what's interesting is because there was a moment in our career where the biggest issue was, will anyone be there? That was that was the question we had, and it was sometimes unspoken because you don't want to jinx it. Will anyone show up? Even now, we play a show and we hear that it's sold out. We still wonder but. Yeah. I know they bought a ticket,
right.
But will they come though? They might not be there. So we still don't feel totally comfortable yet. So
the formula is an easy formula, but mastering the formula is impossible. And I think the formula is you have to be such an awesome live band with good songs and have a very strong fan base and be good to them. All you need are those three things and you're going to be fine. But some people stink on stage, some people are jerks to their fans, and sometimes you just don't really have the songs. But man, you guys are just rolling with all three, and you talked about just attacking the stage with your live shows. Is it just a super easy thing to do for you, or do you have to get in a whole separate place before you take the stage?
It's a lot tougher to get up in front of people and show, you know, what you've created. It's a lot tougher than maybe the impression we give off when we're on there. You know, we try to come off as if like we've been here before, we deserve this, and not only that, but we're gonna, you know, like win this moment over. And I think if we're being honest, like there's a lot of thoughts that go into, you know, are we even good enough? Is this gonna come across weird? You know, it's just two guys, and it's, you know, everyone else, you know, at this festival's got like 5 dudes on stage, and and so, you know, there are those moments where you start to rethink it, and even in the middle of sets, you start thinking that, and that's, looking back, my favorite times on stage, because I get to win and I get to conquer that moment. So.
And is conquering the moment making someone have fun who was doubtful of you guys?
You can kind of just feel it. Sometimes you walk off stage and you're just like, that was rough. You know, it's just the way it is. But then there's a time where you can feel it in the room where people saw it and said, you know what, that was good. I appreciate that they worked hard for us. You know, that's one of the things that we knew from the beginning. Is like, you got to take the stage and you have to work hard. You can't go up there and just expect something from an audience. And so there's that victory, but then even more importantly than that is the victory inside my own head and our, you know, what we're thinking as, you know, 2 individuals on stage, just trying to stay above water, just trying to continue to emit confidence in a situation that could crush you. It's tough sometimes.
It's crazy. Some of my darkest like moments in my mind of my whole life have been on stage, and some of my happiest moments in life have been on stage too. So it's like every night's really different, but it's just like I get so excited for it every day.
That's great. It seems like with that kind of attitude and that kind of feeling you have inside, it's impossible to slack off because you don't want to lose a night. You don't want to screw it up too bad. But you say, I think it's in Lane Boy, like don't trust a perfect song, don't trust a perfect person. Mm-hmm. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Well, the song Lame Boy on this this new record was kind of a moment for me to just kind of air out some things that I was thinking. You know, so we've been through the album cycle of Vessel, and for the first time ever, we got kind of a glimpse of what it takes to not only be successful on the road, but also be successful with, you know, writing good songs. And we never knew that there was kind of this formula out there for you know, what makes a song popular or successful, or I don't know, a single, or however you want to say it. And when I started diving into that world, the songwriting world, I realized that a lot of these bands that I consider peers, and not only that, but bands that I look up to, they're not even really writing their own songs. If not, there's people helping them do it that you can just, it just makes sense. You're like, oh, that didn't feel like them. I felt like I knew them as an artist and as a songwriter, and then they come out with this, and you're just like, that doesn't feel like them. And
is that the lyrics and the music and the hooks and the whole construction of those songs?
You know, there's different parts of it that maybe, I mean, obviously lyrics are the first thing that you could tell, like that person would never say that.
Yeah.
But then, I don't know, everyone's looking for this hook. Everyone's looking for the structure, really. If you can get to the chorus quick enough, if you can hit it 2 times before the bridge, and if the bridge can get out of the bridge soon enough to hit the chorus again in under 3 minutes and 10 seconds or whatever it is you're shooting for, then you're good to go. And so, and that's kind of like, that's really the culture we're living in now, and I understand that and I get that, but I'm interested in trying to find like a true piece of art maybe inside of those boundaries. Instead of just trying to cop out and I don't know. I don't want to say it, like, I don't want to be offensive or whatever.
No,
I
you're
just
fine.
get really
You're fine.
critical of songs and people who write songs, and it just feels like they're trying to be something that they're not. And I hope we never come across that way. And maybe people think that, but I can sit here and say that Josh and I, this new record, every single thing is just us, and this is exactly what we wanted to do. Some people may comment like, it seems a little more mainstream, or it seems like they were trying to do this, or it seems even more segregated and separated, and all these different comments. And
That's just a lot of crazy noise. When
yeah, you're right. I have to.
Yeah, you got to
shut
block
out.
that out, because
Yeah.
when people say that, they're not growing with you. They're staying behind.
Yeah, yeah.
And someone who talks too much about the past is not happy with what they have in store for themselves.
Yeah, yeah. I'm learning how to not listen to people who are being critical for just the sake of being critical.
To expand on your point about songwriting and little songs, one thing with Vessel and the new album is, it is impossible for me as a fan of music, and especially the band, to put on one song and just stop. It's a collection of great songs that you have to listen to at least like 2 or 3 in a row, or just go through the entire thing, and that says something about the band. Whether it's a theme of an album or something else, is that, I mean, that's gotta A, feel good, but B, is that kind of like the plan as a band? We want to put out an album, listen to the whole thing. It's not just one song and download that thing 6 million times.
I mean, I'll say, first off, thanks for listening to our music.
Of course.
It's really cool that you even really know who we are, and so we get
You're
into
the best,
interviews
man.
and people are just like, so you were formed in 2000 whatever, and so well, no, but seriously, I can tell you, you actually are a fan of what we do, and that's a really cool feeling. I think that when we were never intentionally saying, hey, let's make an album that each song has nothing to do with its, the next, and let's try to make it as crazy of a landscape as possible. Truly, the way that I describe it is, I can't think of any other explanation for why it came out that way, other than Josh and I came from a generation of kids who had access to everything. We were able to get our hands on any type of music, any style of music, and at the end of the day, when we're done recording something or done writing something, we look at each other and say, do we like this? And if the answer is yes, then like we believe in it. And I guess sometimes it might not make sense, like when you step back and listen to the whole thing, but I never want someone to listen to a few sections of a song or a record and think, I got it. I know what they're doing. I get it. I don't want to listen to music that does that. And I would never want to make music that does that either. So I think it's great that people want to listen to the whole thing.
Yep.
I think we were kind of try to be strategic in how the songs are, the order of them and everything too, just because I know when I was younger, I would actually go, I mean now it's a different age, but I would go and buy physical copies of CDs, or even when I was way younger, like tapes. I guess I wasn't around for records really, but now
How old are you? I thought you were like 23
into
or
records.
something.
He's 77.
Yeah, you're 77.
But in that, but I didn't want to buy something where there's like only a couple songs that I like, or like 1 or 2, and I'm like, maybe this is weird, but I like to fall asleep listening to music too. So I'll just like put it on and listen to it as I'm going to sleep, and just put it all the way through. So that's my favorite kind of album, is something that I can just like hit play and not even worry about it, and just listen to it all the way through. Or even now when I'm in my car, if I like play a Spotify or iTunes or something, I don't want to be messing like skipping songs and stuff, so I'll have something go all the way through. And that's how we just kind of grew up listening to that stuff. And so I think for us, I guess it's the goal. It's just like, well, let's try and make something that people can just hit play, hopefully, or at least when I'm listening to my own album,
You've
I
totally
don't want to.
succeeded with that. 100%.
Well, thank you.
I just want to talk about kind of fun stuff for a minute. The last show for the run for Vessel, do you remember where it was? Were you happy? Were you excited? Were you depressed? What was the feeling on that?
Was that Mexico City?
It was Mexico City, yeah.
So the last show of that album cycle,
Yeah.
which we started, it just kind of became this thing that I don't know if we totally anticipated, but the last show was Mexico City. And it's crazy. It's just like, I can't believe we're in a different country. These kids know these songs.
And they're singing in English, of course.
Yeah, and
too.
they I'm telling you, they're some of the craziest fans in the world in Mexico, and so it was a really great show. The one moment that it stood, there was a moment it kind of like left, like it kind of like represented the whole album cycle.
Yeah.
There was one moment where, like every night, Josh and I, at the very end of the show, we both walk down stage, put our arm around you and wave and do like a little bow, thank you, and then walk off. The very last show of the last, this album cycle in Mexico City, we walk down, I put an arm around, and I'm waiting there, and sometimes I'll wait, and then and we bow down, and Josh leans over to me, and he goes, dude, I'm about to poop my pants. And so, for some reason, it's like, in a way, this like, Josh had been holding in this metaphoric thing.
He drank the water. You drank the water there.
Not on purpose, because we've been there before. So like everything's bottled, and it must have just been something like maybe they used like poured water on some of the food. Like,
but I interrupt you. Metaphorically speaking, that was like a metaphor.
No,
it
was a metaphor for like I have so many like new ideas and new songs in me. Like we got to go make a new record. Like that's the way I took it.
And then what is the first thing you did for fun where this man was not with you after the album? What did you do?
Oh no, you can't have fun without him.
No, I don't have
you don't
fun
have fun without him?
Okay. No, I'm a miserable man when Tyler's not around. Trying to remember.
Did you have like a drink with an umbrella in it somewhere?
How long did we have off?
A couple weeks until we got into the studio. So I think I flew back to LA because I just moved here like maybe like a little over a year ago. And I probably the most fun I had was just like taking a nap on my couch. I don't know.
Josh, he's a good napper.
Yeah, that sounds very fun.
Well.
Right?
It's just something I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
Okay, right. The songs, the full albums, your hometown selling out the show, getting friends in, and napping.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that on your Tinder account?
Yeah. Swipe right or whatever on me.
Okay.
For if you like naps.
Right. There you go. How about for you?
No, I don't have a Tinder.
No.
Oh, okay.
What did you do for
sorry.
fun?
I thought you were like
no, I don't know what
moves
Tinder
or
is.
something. No, I got married.
Congratulations. Nice.
That's a good one.
That's a really good one.
That's a thing,
You're
right?
turning violet right now. You're getting red cheeks right now.
Forgot about it.
Do not check him out on Tinder.
No.
Congratulations.
I have a different Tinder. It's
You
under a different name.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm kidding. I got married, got a house, which is cool. Been renting, for a long time, and so it's really actually really close to my parents. So I didn't really move that far away.
Congratulations on all
So
that.
I lived through Josh a little bit. Like
Okay.
he's out in LA, kind of like
All right.
LAing it up.
Playing kickball.
Napping.
Yeah.
Some of the best naps are out here.
The song, when I'm here, I'm fairly local. Is that, it's stuck in my head, and I feel like it's an incredible song, and I played it, and then all of a sudden I got this tweet from @wallpaper, Ricky Reed is real.
Yeah.
He's like, I worked on that song. And I'm like, you worked on that song, so I started looking, but I couldn't find his name. But then I did more investigation, I saw his name. How much did he work on that song and the full album? How much is Ricky Reed involved?
Well,
And by the way, sorry for going, I'm fairly like I was in the band.
Yeah, no,
It's
you
terrible.
killed it.
I like dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, you killed it. No, so the way that this record happened, we had pretty much all the demos done. I put a lot of time into the programming, so all of the sounds and the structure and the songs obviously are pretty much all finished. And then we go, there's certain aspects of recording like live drums and getting that vocal where it needs to be and EQing and mixing and all these things that I don't know how to do yet. And so we knew that we needed to partner with some producers on this record that understood our vision, kind of like accepted these songs as like completed songs and really fleshed out ideas, and then take each sound, each moment, and go, okay, hey, how can we make this better, or should it live the way it is? And Ricky was one of those guys that I think he did like 8 songs on this record with us. So
nice.
we hit a stride with him, and he added a lot to the record as far as just his knowledge of what this sound could you hear, and I know where this sound I've heard of this sound before, and then also. Him and his engineer Drew that captured Josh's live drums, which are like really, it's vital to the record, honestly. So I think he was a big part of it.
Have you guys had an argument within the last 3 years?
I think we have.
Yeah, we definitely have. They're very short, and
then ends in
it's
a
usually
hug.
like,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
it ends in a hug, and then we nap. No, we've argued. Yeah, I think Josh. I think the one thing that Josh and I have that's the difference between us. There's a lot of differences. He's a lot cooler than I am.
That's not true.
Is I think that everyone's out to get me. I think it's the worst of everyone. And I'm not saying like I have an issue with that. I'm just saying relative to this guy who is just thinks the best of everyone. You know what? I think we should give that person a chance. We should, meet with that person. We should do this, until they prove that they're not a good person, which is, in my opinion, a much better way to live life. So I approach things a little more negatively than I'd like, and Josh approaches things very positively. And so sometimes we disagree on, people or some decisions on where we should go, but I think that that's why we need to be in a band together, because we end up right down the middle.
So whoever hurt
Was
you
that good?
as a young person
That was-
broke
that
your
was
trust,
good.
I'm
Thanks.
going after. Yeah, that was good, by the way. That was good.
Thanks.
So,
Yeah, because there really isn't, there's like not a lot of argument, surprisingly, because like being in a band, and especially with just two guys, like I hang out with him more than I hang out with any other human. Like we're together more, like probably
That
like,
is weird to think about.
yeah, like probably like more than, like brothers growing up or whatever. We're together all the time. So you would think that like we would just be like super annoyed with each other or like have arguments all the time, but there really aren't a lot. When they are, I get bad anxiety, and I'm just like, he's gonna kick me out of the band.
We like doing that. He kicks me out sometimes. I'll kick him out sometimes, and then we come back together, and then like our next tour is a reunion tour.
It's a reunion tour.
We try to reunite before each tour.
okay, got it. You've reunited more than Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Yes. That was so much doubt and pressure and not trusting people. So I had a lot of Twitter questions for you guys, and a lot of people said, what is Blurry Face?
Yeah.
Is that a reflection on both of you? On you? Is it someone that doesn't trust people? Can you just expand on that a little bit?
So the new record, it's called Blurry Face, and not that this is a concept record, but there is a common thread running throughout, and there's this character. For me, I know, and I've shared this with Josh obviously a lot, and we both kind of have our own version of what the record means to us. But for me, this Blurry Face character, I know as an individual, I know what it is that I'm insecure about, like the certain things I don't like about myself, certain things that I don't want people to know, whatever it is. Where my self-awareness starts to become hazy is how do those insecurities affect my day-to-day life? What do I do to compensate for those insecurities? And I really wanted to figure that out and dive into that, because I felt like it was an area in my life that needed to be fleshed out and understood. So in order to do that, I kind of came up with this character who I gave him a name, a face, and a seat at the table, so I could look across the table, and those are my insecurities, and I could address them as what they are. So this guy then he's got kind of a backstory to him and who he is, and the ultimate goal is to defeat this character. Going into this next cycle, Josh and I had, we're feeling a lot of the pressure, maybe a lot of doubt of who we are, what we're trying to do, whether or not what we're going to do next is good enough. Whatever hype there was after the first record, trying to follow it up. There's just that everyone talks about the sophomore slump thing, and it starts to get to you. And I think that focusing on this guy helped me block all that out. So in a live show, especially, but throughout the record, this guy is very present, and then he is defeated at the end. So it's something that I think that people could relate to, as far as just things that they go through in their lives and insecurities they know that they have, and I think it's a good message, and it helped me focus on writing a record. So that's kind of who he is.
Got it. Just hearing you talk about that, I don't want to say it shocks me, but when I look at you two, I think They don't care. They're going to go in a room and make it exactly how they want, and it's going to be great because they know exactly what they're doing. But to hear you say there are some insecurities and sophomore slump, even though you've put out lots of music before, Vessel and all that. But
we were held back.
What's that?
I don't know. Sophomores are held back. Like,
Right.
Held back.
yeah.
Okay, let's few last questions here. First of all, by the way, you guys are going to play in this room on June 30th. This is the Red Bull Sound Space, full setup. And people can win their way in through krock.com and listening to the radio. Okay, if there's, you can pass on some of these questions, they're not that deep, but this particular girl wants to know is if you could listen to one song the rest of your life, what would it be?
Jeez.
Yeah.
I would listen to our whole record, but with nothing except for Josh's drums.
Okay, that's a big
that
compliment
counts.
right there, Josh.
I feel pretty, yeah, that's an accomplishment.
Okay, now what's yours?
Yeah, only his voice.
It'd probably be the song that Tyler was just starting to write on the ukulele right before you, right before we started doing the interview.
Look at us.
Yeah,
We're best friends.
we really are.
Yeah.
It's
Because the cameras are on.
Do you guys want guacamole?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give you some in a minute. You got guacamole. Okay, if you could switch places with one band for a day, that's it. One day, you're going to be them and you're going to do whatever. Who would it be? Tyler?
I would say, I mean, I'm not sure, I think they're a real band, but I would love to see the world through the eyes of the Wiggles. Because I feel like the way that they approach life
Right.
is like what we're all really trying to achieve. What about you, Josh? Top that.
Yeah, I probably Metallica.
We could probably tour together
Yeah, that'd be a great
Yeah.
for a
opening.
day.
So he's in the Wiggles, I'm in Metallica, playing bass.
Yeah, and we're collabing on some songs.
Yeah. Like I don't know who's headlining.
Basically, our answer to that is a nightmare.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. And then just random stuff. So you live in LA now. Do you prefer like a fat burger, In-N-Out? Are you meatless? Do you like, what do you like?
Definitely not meatless.
Okay.
I've like thought about doing that, but only in like my masochistic brain that's like, how can I torture myself? I feel like I'm encroaching offensive territory if I say that I don't love In-N-Out burger.
That's fine.
Especially being here like in LA or whatever, like, you know.
Dun 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 dun.
But I still eat it all the time.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna go through the
then
drive-thru today.
You don't have to backpedal now, man.
No,
That's it.
I'm not a huge fan either. I'm gonna be honest.
Did you watch Mad Men?
I did not.
Okay. It's
Why?
I'm just wondering if you watched Mad Men. The series just ended. It was really good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it had something to do with In-N-Out.
Not one bit. Not one bit. I just have ADD. I'm going all over the place.
Keep going.
Did you see Birdman?
I did
Oh,
see
yeah.
Birdman.
Did
the
you like
movie.
Birdman?
Here we go.
Are we about to
God.
have an argument?
Here we go.
Wait, hold on. Let me see what time it is. Okay, we got we have time. Yeah.
Okay, well, I thought, well, what do you think, Josh?
Say it. You guys thought it stunk, didn't you?
I thought the movie was horrible.
I loved Birdman.
You loved Birdman.
I loved it too.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know why?
loved
You
it.
guys like it? Because you like to find other people who liked it and have a moment because like no one else likes it.
No one else likes
That's
it.
not true. It was like critically acclaimed. I get it.
But I know some people that hated it and yelled at me for liking it. so
Well, no,
much.
it's just like honestly, what happened was, I heard you liked it, and I was like, "This is gonna be great."
How'd you hear he liked
That's-
it?
He
Yeah.
said
Who told you?
he said he told me.
I recommended
Oh, you
it
did.
to
He
him. I
told
said
me.
you
He's
should
like,
see Birdman.
Birdman's great, and I had no idea what it was about. I'm like, I could go for another action hero movie, like, right? I could, whatever. I'm gonna be entertained by explosions and stuff.
You know, one take with some music playing throughout the whole.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It was just like.
He's just sick of drummers, I think.
Did you like the movie about the drummer?
Whiplash?
Yes, I did like
Whiplash.
that.
Yeah.
That was a really good.
Do you think the ends is worth, like the success is worth going through all that torture? Whether in
he
the
went
movie
through?
or in life in general.
Oh wow. But in that movie, that was pretty intense.
It was intense.
Whiplash?
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I just love like the piano so much. I can't imagine loving the drums as much as he does. But then they
Well,
got this guy who.
I saw that movie with my dad. I had never heard of it, and my dad's like, "Let's go see this movie Whiplash," and I'm like, "What's that?" And he's like, "It's about a drummer." So I'm like, "All right, I'll see it." And it was interesting to me because I never went to college, but sort of the deciding factor was my senior year of high school. I did like the career center type thing for music, basically music, having a career in music, or first introduction to what college would look like. And it was like kind of a very similar setup to what that was in Whiplash. And the instructor of that whole thing, and he did kind of like music theory and history and then performance as well, and then a little bit of recording too. But he was a guy who was like very tormented in his own life, and kind of dealt with a lot of personal stuff, and was a really good guitar player, but he was really hard on everybody. And he was kind of like J.K. Simmons in Whiplash is like here, just top notch, like horrible guy, and then Jeff McCargish is like here.
Oh wow, we dropped the name.
Wow.
Oh,
Hey,
man.
no, he comes to our shows though. I guest list him on our shows, and like we're friends.
But do
we
you
are
give him
friends.
passes though,
Okay.
or is he way in the back?
No, I'll hook him up.
Okay.
Like I've gone into his class since and spoke and like talked to the kids and stuff. But to me, it was just an experience where it's very tough. I guess it's just when you're in a room full of like other musicians who are all working towards something and the same thing, it's really hard. And I think I think they captured him in the movie, the main character. I forget his name, Miles Teller.
Yeah.
Really well, in the sense of just he's so dedicated and working so hard to rise above these other people who are working toward the same thing. And I think that's what's so inspiring, is that it reminds me of like playing in my parents' basement every day.
That's very cool.
And even I'll always remember something that Tyler told me when we first met, is like when he was like playing basketball or whatever, and his mom's kind of like, every day you're not out there practicing and trying to get better, somebody else is, and when you meet up, they're gonna beat you.
That was the PG version.
Yeah, but so I think that's even
They're gonna beat you.
they'll beat you.
Yeah.
Carrying over to kind of like what we do in our mentality of this whole thing, even still, and I think always, it's kind of just like we always want to get better, and we always want to try and be better versions of ourselves as people or musicians or performers or whatever. And because that's what everyone else is trying to do, and
sure.
when we stop doing that, then someone will.
That's why you guys are at the place you're at, and we're going to wrap it up with this. June 30th in the Sound Space. If you have not investigated their music and you've watched some of this interview, now's your chance to get on board. It has been so exciting from my vantage point to see you two guys who I had never met and only heard their songs, hoping that like good things would happen, that people would come out and see you play. And not only have they come out to see you play, but you delivered, just hit a home run. And I can see and hear with everything you say, like how serious you take it. You're not just two guys, oh, we're doing fine. Like you are attacking this business and this game, and kudos to you for doing it. Thanks for sitting with me for so long.
Absolutely.
I
Thanks
really
for having
appreciate it. Great to see you. Great to
Are we
see you.
hugging?
Yeah, I guess we're
let's
gonna hug.
hug.
Okay, it's Straይкер with 21 Pilots at K-Rock. Goodbye, everybody.